This year, 100 Women is taking you on a journey through time and space to bring 5 incredible women out of the shadows of history. We start in 18th century England, way up in the sky. That sound you're hearing is the song of a comet, when its electromagnetic waves are converted into sound waves. Caroline Herschel discovered 8 comets. 1 was named after her. She also discovered a galaxy and a nebula. Herschel was the first woman in England to be paid for her contributions to science, but her work as an astronomer is less known about than her brother William's, who discovered Uranus. Caroline dedicated a lot of time cataloguing William's work, rather than focusing on her own. Together, they discovered 2,400 astronomical objects. She was determined to have recognition for her work in her lifetime. So when she discovered her 8th comet, she travelled 30 miles on 1 hour's sleep to the Royal Observatory in Greenwich to stake her claim to it before anyone else could. Now, off to 19th century Japan. A huge wave is breaking to the left. To the right, boats struggle to stay afloat on a sea of choppy white water. In the distance, Mount Fuji's blue and white peak blends into the sea below. This iconic image of the Great Wave off Kanagawa by Katsushika Hokusai is one of the most recognisable pieces of Japanese art. But Hokusai wasn't the only artistic Katsushika in 19th century Japan. His daughter, Katsushika Oei, was an accomplished painter. Hokusai praised her for her bajinga paintings of beautiful women that he said he couldn't compete with. Her name has been left out from the history books. Galleries hang pieces under his name, which art historians believe to be hers. Now, Oei has developed a cult following. Anime, documentaries and graphic novels have been made about her life. And one writer has described her as the next wave. And now it's time for a Victorian tale. The piece you've been listening to is Fanny Mendelssohn's Easter Sonata. When it was discovered, it was attributed to the other F. Mendelssohn, her brother Felix. It was only premiered under her name in 2012. Just before Fanny's 15th birthday, her father wrote to her, saying that music could become a profession for Felix, but for her, it would always remain but an ornament, and never the foundation of her daily life. Most of her pieces were unpublished in her lifetime, and some of those that were published under her brother's name. Embarrassingly for Felix, when he met Queen Victoria, she announced her favourite piece of his, but she picked one of Fanny's, called Italienne. Let's travel on to the 20th century. Too intellectual. An old hag. These were just some of the comments made by Albert Einstein's family about his first wife, Mileva. At the university they studied at together, they were both strong students. And one time, Mileva got the top mark in applied physics, a 5, as opposed to a 1 for Albert. Biographies of Mileva suggest their joint studies were the start of many years of collaboration, which she got little credit for.
The Joint British Committee Authors' Day dinner in London in honour of Professor Einstein.
43 letters between them remain. One from Albert speaks of how happy he will be when
the two of us together will have brought our work on relative motion to a victorious conclusion.
When they divorced, they agreed that if he ever received the Nobel Prize, she would get the money.
I will add a few words.
After his will gave the money to their sons, It's thought she threatened to reveal her involvement in his work. Albert wrote to her,
"When someone is completely insignificant, there is nothing else to say to this person but to remain modest and silent. This is what I advise you to do."
And last, but not least, let's take to the high seas. I live with adventure, and what woman, given the chance, would choose otherwise? These are the words of Simone Cousteau. She left a fashionable Parisian lifestyle to explore and research the oceans with her husband Jacques aboard their ship, the Calypso. She even experienced living underwater for days at a time. The first woman aquanaut, a diver, a business partner, and known as La Bergère, the shepherdess of the explorer Jacques Cousteau's famous expeditions. Her son Jean-Michel described Simone as the real captain of the Calypso, despite always avoiding the limelight and never featuring in Jacques' documentaries about their life at sea. One 50s newspaper clipping speaks of how she could have been pouring tea in her elegant studio flat in Paris or lazing by a swimming pool in the Mediterranean. But instead,
she has ridden on the backs of giant land turtles and danced in a ball gown in tropical residencies. She's also cooked for 23 men and helped save the Calypso when it snapped its moorings with no officers aboard.